Hello there, and welcome to the Star Wars Guys YouTube channel where the Force is family, and welcome back to Animation Friday. I've really been looking forward to this one because we took last week off because you, Coffee on Korriban, had a special Mustaches on Mustafar stream last week where you were helping out the, what was it called, Give an Hour
Given
charity?
Hour. Yep.
Yes.
And we actually
And
had the
that
CEO of Given Hour pop into the chat, and she was watching for a little while, which was pretty awesome. So,
that must
and
that
and
must that must have happened after I had left because I don't remember that.
yeah, she was in the chat for a little while too, and she said she loved the community and appreciated everything we were doing. And for everyone that stopped by, thank you so much. We raised $660.
Yes.
Execute order 660. But seriously, that's so cool. And as we talked about in that stream, you never know what that little thing is that can save someone from taking that step too far. So thank you everyone that showed up. It was an awesome night.
Indeed. Well, anyways, though, Animation Friday is back on the clock tonight, and we are going to be discussing the first 5 episodes of Season 2. So, those episodes are Holocron Heist, Cargo of Doom, Children of the Force, Senate Spy, and Landing at Point Rain. Now, Michael, of course, will be joining us later, so will the Matt Cave, and X-Wing's going to make a special appearance later, hopefully. So we'll, of course, get their thoughts on these episodes. But starting off, Tim, just in general, what's your thoughts on this block of 5 episodes?
I liked them. I liked these ones like more so than a few toward the latter half of the first season.
Okay.
I did fall asleep on the 5th episode of this season, so I won't have a whole lot to comment on with that one. But the other ones were pretty awesome, and getting to see a little bit more of Padme's backstory and Anakin being jealous for her, which is completely understandable. But they were a good bunch of episodes. I really enjoyed them.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I definitely noticed one thing was an improvement with this block of 5 episodes over pretty much all of season 1, and that is the animation. I know that's the big animation upgrade that they talk about in season 3 has yet to come.
Right.
But the animation in these first 5 episodes of season 2 just looks that much better and clearer than it did in season 1 and in the movie. Did you notice?
Yeah, I did notice that. It's a subtle improvement. You don't really notice it unless you tell yourself to notice it, right? Like if you catch yourself thinking like, how does this animation look? Then you'll notice the little details, especially in the background, because the background stuff is the stuff that makes such a huge difference, but you don't notice it because you're watching whatever's happening in the foreground, those characters that are closer to you. So like those characters and items and textures in the background in the first season were looking a little bit rough, and they're definitely a little bit more smoothed out as we're progressing now into the second season.
Indeed. So real quick, I am just sharing out the links to the YouTube link here as I do.
Cool.
By the way, while I'm sharing this out, I'll let you know that this time 2 weeks from now, if everything goes according to plan, I should be officially locked in for the ICC convention.
Nice. I have not
So,
locked myself in for that.
yeah. Basically my Christmas bonus from work is coming up, and the past 2 years it's been, without saying exactly what, it's been pretty nice. So I should be able to comfortably cover myself.
Did you watch the collecting stream I had with Johnny William and X-Wing a couple weeks ago?
A little bit of it.
We were joking around about this picture right here, because this is a portrait of Revan done by my daughter. So she was copying this image.
Can I see it closer?
That's Revan.
Oh.
Believe it or not, that's Revan. So
Nice.
Yeah, so she was copying this picture of Revan. Anyway, on that stream we were joking of like what if I had her draw a character and then have the actor who played that character sign it. Like, what would it even be worth? It would kind of be just a cool collector piece. Um, and how we were joking about calling it a masterful replica. But I was thinking, why doesn't she draw Palpatine? And then Ian McDiarmid is going to be at ICC.
Yeah.
What if that picture, it'd probably just look like maroon and black squiggles, but have him sign it. That would be a really cool piece and then frame it and stick it behind me or whatever. But
That would be nice.
do we have any indication about how much like an autograph from him is going to be?
I haven't seen anything on the website. I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, I didn't see anything earlier when I checked.
Yeah, I don't see anything other than the fact that they're listing his name there. But of course, if I'm able to meet him, I'm taking something for him to sign also, which is this guy that I got from X-Wing.
Yeah, are you going to have him sign the base of it or the actual saber itself?
I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to have him sign the box.
Matt Cave, don't worry about it. You do, Dad.
By the way, since you said that we have permission to tease you in our Discord chats, that let me just say, your beard is awesome, and I am jealous of it.
Oh, I was going to say that beard. Ugh. I'm just kidding.
We're too nice.
Yeah.
All right.
And hi to Cobra Disney Jedi. Oh, did you already say that?
Hello.
You did. Okay. I didn't. Well, hello.
Well, double hello.
Yeah.
It's weird Michael's not in here. All right. Well, anyways, let's go ahead and get into some of these episodes. So let's start, of course. Since this is the beginning of the season, there's really nothing to recap because nothing from. Just being honest with you, man. All right, so starting, of course, we don't need to recap anything because nothing really from season 1, at least in these 5 episodes, connects over into season 2. So let's just get straight into Holocron Heist. So we see again, Cad Bane has been hired by Darth Sidious to steal a certain holocron from the Jedi Temple, from the Jedi Archives. And real quick, Cobra Disney Jedi says, thoughts on Coach's daily Star Wars dad jokes.
I've seen amazing. Them. I haven't checked them out yet, but I probably would approve. I know Bagel Boy Productions does a dad joke of the day as well. But yeah, I'll have to check them out. The Star Wars dad jokes, those are funny.
Yeah, he's uploading them on his the YouTube Shorts for Echo Base, and he's uploading them now on the re-established Echo Base TikTok.
I don't tick the talk, so I wouldn't know.
I barely do. I'm just there to watch, basically.
I'm honestly still waiting for my invitation to Boomer Council because I feel like I'm boomer enough.
I do too.
And I got but 2 kids, right?
But then again, if we get both X-Wing and Matt Cave on here, it'll be a mini Boomer Council.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. So anyways, the episode starts on Felucia, where Anakin, Obi-Wan, Ahsoka, and up in space, Plo Koon are losing a battle against the Separatists. Now, Ahsoka is taking on one specific mission as part of this overall campaign, and she is experiencing some pretty chronic tunnel vision. Like, she's only focusing so much on her one objective that she is not able to see the bigger picture that they're losing and they need to get out of there. And she's really insistent on wanting to stay. But, of course, Anakin, with some difficulty, manages to convince her to get out of there. And later on, They appear before the Jedi Council, and basically Ahsoka, for her lack of foresight and, again, view of the overall big picture, is, for lack of a better term, suspended from the battlefield. And so she now has to play guard duty at the archives. And by the way, hello to Admiral Nerdporial Lifeform, who says, "Hi, Cad Bane's introduction, interesting arc. An evil Sith wants children for his evil purposes." Yeah, and that'll be the next. This is the start of this, of that. This is a 3-episode arc, and this is the start of it. And when we get to the parts with the actual children, we'll go into that a little bit deeper and perhaps speculate what he could have wanted that for.
Definitely.
But anyways, back here. So Ahsoka goes to the archives and starts working with Jocasta Nu. And of course, Jocasta Nu, for those that don't know, is the old lady from episode 2 that says basically, if it doesn't appear in the archives, it doesn't exist, to Obi-Wan when he's looking for Kamino. Meanwhile, Cad Bane is contacted by Darth Sidious, who, as I said before, hires him to steal a holocron from the archives. And Bane recognizes that this is an almost impossible job and demands, of course, compensation appropriate for it. But he takes the job, and he goes in with his 2 partners, one of which is a droid named Toto 360, and the other is a changeling named Kato. I'm probably going to butcher this name. I'm looking it up on Wikipedia. Kato Parasiti, who apparently the species is a Claudite. So that's what the changeling species is. So
the same one as Zam Wessel, right?
Yes.
Same species?
Yes. So the plan is for the changeling to assume the form of a deceased Jedi named, what was it again? It was Ord Innocence. And that's how he gets into the vault. And Michael's here now.
Hello, good sir.
Good evening.
So, am I sensing a Admiral Thrawn voice competition here, Michael? Are you challenging him?
No.
All right. So anyways, Michael, we are just going over the first of the 5 episodes, which is Holocron Heist. And so far I have described up to the point where the changeling character takes on the form of the deceased Jedi. Yep. And of course, by the way, hello to our youngest brother, Epic John, who, by the way, is also in the house.
Epic John in the house.
Yes. So anyways, as this dead Jedi, he enters the temple and finds his way to the archives, while Bane installs a security chip into his droid, which gives him access to the temple's security measures. Now, during all of this, once the changeling has entered the council, the temple, Yoda senses a shift in the Force and determines that there's going to be an attempted theft in the temple. And Obi-Wan and Anakin guess that they're heading for the communication station because this is someone working directly with the Separatists to basically take all military and tactical information involving the clone army that they can. Of course, we know later that they turn out to be wrong. So they go and search the security and the communications area, while Ord, or Kato,
Mhm.
enters the archives, but is stopped by Ahsoka, who, or tries to play it off cool, stay in character. But Ahsoka is a little bit too persistent, and he drops characters like, "Listen, youngling, leave me alone." So
Mhm.
that sort of makes her stand off, but at the same time, sort of makes her wonder what's going on here.
Yeah, it's just not the way a Jedi would act, and I mean, she kind of knew something was off right away, just because
Mhm.
it's not a way that a Jedi Master would respond, even if they were upset about something.
Right.
Yeah.
So after that, the changeling gets access to one of the computers, and for the next several scenes, basically guides Cad Bane through the ventilation system of the Jedi Temple
They're
as
gonna the
to
ventilation shaft.
yes. Anyways, though, the next several scenes are him going through the vents, trying to find his way into the archives. And of course, Obi-Wan and Anakin are still wrongfully looking for him in the communications and security area. Eventually, though, Jocasta Nu returns to the archives and finds that Kato, the changeling, as the Jedi Ord, is on the computer talking to Bane. And they get into a little bit of an altercation, and Jocasta Nu gets knocked out while Kato assumes the form of Jocasta Nu. So while that is going on, Bane reaches where he needs to get to, but at the same time, Ahsoka notices that Jocasta Nu is acting weird, and basically her cover's blown. And they have a very, well, I wouldn't necessarily call it a lightsaber duel, but it's a chase where lightsabers sometimes clash.
Yeah.
And by the
I mean,
way,
after
here is the
all,
Matt Cave, and he is
Yeah.
Yo.
Oh wait, what stream are we on? Oh, this
Animation
is
Friday.
Star Wars. Ugh, hold on a
no,
second.
keep it, keep it. It's great.
No,
You gotta
yeah,
keep it.
I love
please.
that.
And by the way, Matt Cave, your shorts with all those things you have been so funny.
Oh,
Like you're
you're
just
trying
like
to break up the. Yeah. I was just like, how long can I hold this? I
it
started
was
to break.
perfect. It was
It was
perfect.
good. It was
So
good.
Yeah.
just to give you a heads up, I have more of those on the way.
Oh,
other characters.
Yes.
I like it.
So everyone can look forward to some epic Mario Kart and Smash Brothers streams.
Hmm.
If you're gonna be playing Mario Kart, I will join you on that.
Yes. Oh my God, yes. So much yes.
So, anyways, getting
Are
back
we
to
at
where we
Holocron
were.
Heist?
Yes, that's where we are. And we're at the point where the changeling character's cover is blown. Ahsoka's realized who they are, and they have, we'll call it a lightsaber chase, not necessarily a fight, because clearly the changeling, even though they're impersonating a Jedi, they don't have the Force, and so they're no match for
Yeah.
even Ahsoka.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ahsoka even said it herself, where whoever the person was, from her point of view, she might they might have the shape of Jocasta Nu, but she does not have the skill of Jocasta Nu. And then soon
Right.
after, the changeling breaks cover.
And real quick, Epic John, we're talking Mario Kart, not Smash Brothers.
Oh, but there will be some Smash.
I'm sure there will be.
I don't know why I said it like that. I'm so sorry, everyone. A little wired
Not-
today.
Not quite no word worthy, but still.
Yeah. I
Anyways.
shouldn't take that tone on this stream.
Yeah,
Save that for Boomer Council.
I'm
caught on
so
4K.
sorry.
You could have done you could have done it earlier on Tron's stream. I know you were in the chat for that.
That was an amazing panel going on over there.
Yeah, that was a good
Wow.
That was fun, but still.
Everyone's been getting good guests recently. I'll just say that right now. Like between a lot of our channels, with Daryl having his cross-pollination stream and
Mhm.
Tron just having a bunch of people on. I know
Mhm.
some other channels I've been following have been getting some big names. I'm getting one of my favorite channels on this Monday which is
Nice.
gonna. I'm so stoked for. I'm like
Mhm.
totally like freaking out, but I'm like trying to play it cool. But
Yeah. And hey, as we speak right now, I am on Mr. Robert Meyer Burnett's site, and I'm going to shoot him an email asking if he would like to be a special guest on Tuesday Night Trek coming up soon.
Oh, dude,
Ooh.
that would be amazing.
I'll tune in for that.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
I've heard his name so many times, but I've never really seen like him talk and like hear what his opinions on things are. He's so well spoken and just
That's the thing. I can listen to him talk all day about everything because he's
Yeah.
so on top of everything pop culture, but he doesn't have this like this
Mhm.
one-sided point of view on everything. Like he's so well versed in this. Absolutely incredible talking with him. And now actually after Tron's stream, I kind of want to make X-Wing jealous. What are the chances? And if anybody's watching and listening, what are the chances of the Matt Cave getting Valiant Renegade on before X-Wing does?
That would kill him. I
Valiant.
love it.
Hit me up. I would be so.
I might
happy
have to get him on my channel too.
Dude, I'll talk everything.
See,
Movies,
this is the thing.
blockbuster,
Like
everything.
I have like an in with a bunch of different people. Like I have already gotten like like Mexican Iron Man
Mhm.
and Stone Loki and a couple other people like already like, yeah, man, I'll come on. Just let me know when. But I'm like, what do I make the show about?
Yeah,
Like, I gotta think of like a really good.
This is full of X-Wing tears.
X-Wing's tears. like leftist tears.
I love you, brother.
That's awesome. X-Wing's tears. Yeah, exactly, Cobra. Exactly right.
Okay. But anyways, getting back on topic though, it's at this point that Obi-Wan and Anakin sort of realize something's up when they see the droid. Michael knows what I'm talking about. They see the droid vent into communications because crewmate, there is an imposter among us. Anyways, if you haven't played Among Us, it's changed so much now. I mean, you can still play it, but it's not the same game it was when it was popular.
It's one of those games at this point you kind of want to make sure you're in there with a bunch of buddies. Like you just want to have a good time like that.
Yeah.
Anyways, though, the droid Toto 360 tries to drop a grenade into the security portion, but of course it backfires on him. And it's then that they realize that he's actually going for the holocrons. However, the changeling character does end up getting captured, but Cad Bane still gets away with one of the holocrons, and that pretty much is the end of the episode. So, you guys' thoughts on this episode specifically? Anything I missed in my little recap?
I didn't expect Toto to get blowed up because
Mm-hmm.
I've only ever seen him in the Bad Batch.
Yeah.
So I saw him and I didn't expect him to like get blowed up. I don't know how he comes back or anything past this point in Clone Wars, but I was like, oh, cool. I remember that guy. Oh, he's like blowed. Okay.
Yeah, don't worry. You can be putting back together. Our 3PO was down to just a head. I mean, it'll be all right. Did you catch who was voicing Toto?
No,
he sounded familiar. I just couldn't.
It was Seth Green.
Seth Green. Where do I know that name?
Seth Green. That actually sounds familiar to me too.
I'm the old man. Seth Green. Okay, he's the voice of Chris Griffin on Family Guy. He does Robot Chicken. He was in the movie Idle Hands. He was in Buffy the Vampire Slayer. He was in
not ringing a bell.
Scotty in Austin Powers.
Never seen Austin Powers.
Mm-mm. He's gonna leave. Yep, he's gone.
Whoops.
Sorry, Batcave.
I told you this before. My list of stuff I haven't seen is just as long, if not longer, than Paul's. So
as many things as are on our list, I'm sure there's probably a similar list of things that aren't on the list that we haven't seen, that we just haven't had even given a thought.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. It's all right. It's okay. I'm gonna be all right.
All right.
Yeah, it's a good point.
I hope I didn't kill your hype.
It's all good.
Okay. Cobra Disney Jedi says Toto gets more disrespected from Cad than 3PO gets from Han.
Toto gets a lot of. I was gonna say no word. Toto is not treated nicely.
No,
Right.
no, he's not. Like,
But
I
at the
wish
same
I
time,
could do a
he.
Cad Bane impression.
But at the same time, he doesn't sit back and take it like 3PO would. Like he's kind of like quippy and he has his little comebacks. So
Yeah,
he doesn't take it lying down.
yeah, he does all right.
indeed, he does. And we see more of him, of course, in the next episode, which is Cargo of Doom.
Mm-hmm.
So in that episode, he has the holocron, but now he's going after another Jedi by the name of Bola Ropal, who has a certain kyber crystal that has imprinted on it a list of every single Force-sensitive child known to the Jedi. And that is ultimately what Darth Sidious wants. Did we just lose Tim?
Oh, it's his. I think it's.
It's the thing. Just assume
I forgot about that.
it's the thing until I don't respond.
Okay, fair enough. But yeah,
Now,
so
I will say, once we get to it, there is a moment in this particular episode that kind of took me out a little bit. I don't know when we get there.
Okay, so they basically Cad Bane at this point now has an entire a small separatist fleet assisting him, and there's this big space battle over Deveron that Anakin's involved in. And
Deveron is like the Deveronians are the guys with the horns, right?
Yes. The
Okay.
one that was the big strong guy in your least favorite episode of The Mandalorian, the jailbreak one.
And he's there's one of them in the cantina in A New Hope as well.
Yes.
Oh, and Velgo, whatever his name from Rebels, the Viago.
Oh, Viago.
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought it was Vizago, actually.
Oh, Izango?
Something
Vizago?
like that.
Vizago?
Yes.
Sure, it sounds right.
It's got a Zago in there.
Something like that. Anyways, though, and it's here that we see a really cool tactic used by Anakin, where in order to take his ship down, he launches 3 ATTEs into space with clones on board, while he and Ahsoka spacewalk with some clones. And that's ultimately how they make their advance onto the ship.
Now,
And
that's the moment.
Really?
The walkers on there, I was totally fine with. The thing that got me a little bit was that we're flat out in space. We're in space. And all Anakin and Ahsoka wear are like a 60s astronaut bubble on their head, and the rest of them are pretty much exposed. But the clones they got the armor, they're insulated, they got all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
And I know they have the Force and everything like that. Hey, nice mug.
I was trying to show it off earlier. I was like slurping out of it.
That was the one. Not that it wasn't like, oh, now I hate Star Wars and I'll never watch it again. It was just like one of those things where I was like, you couldn't put a little bit more of a uniform on them for this.
Yeah, it was certainly a far cry from Leia Poppins, we'll say.
Oh yes, yeah.
Yeah, but if you also think about it, this isn't the first time that we've seen this, where even though it was different, we actually see it back in season 1 of the Clone Wars, just before R2 got yeeted out of Anakin's starship when chasing Grievous back in the R3-S6 arc. Because if you remember, the walkers were on the asteroids shooting at Grievous's flagships.
Mm-hmm.
So
That is true. But then, and if I remember correctly, there was also no clones in space then. But remember also the Malevolence arc. Plo Koon. Now, granted, not human. I'll give you that. But Plo Koon was out in space with literally nothing but, his normal getup. So if not to disrespect Matt K, but if we can give that a pass, I think we could give Anakin and Ahsoka a pass with their helmets.
I see where you're coming from,
though, in that.
I see where you're coming, though. It's not like anything canon breaking or galaxy breaking. It's something that took you personally out of the episode.
It was just like a little speck. Yeah. That's like I like that Plo Koon mentioned to the clones. He's like, I'm okay with my deal for a little bit. Like he kind of makes a point of it. It was just that little, and like I said, the tiniest little thing, but not a deal breaker because this is a great arc in the Clone Wars.
So anyways, back onto that. While this attack is going on, Cad Bane is continuously torturing Bolo Rapal and forces him to open the holocron, but Rapal refuses. So he tortures them more and more, increasing the power of the electronic bursts that he's getting until ultimately it kills him. So Cad Bane needs another Jedi. And at least in Cad Bane's mind, who should happen to show up but 2 more Jedi? So Anakin and Ahsoka and their forces invade the Separatist cruiser. Anakin and Ahsoka make their way to rescue T'Pol. Rapal, but of course they find him dead. There's a big firefight in the hangar bay of the cruiser where at one point, X-Wing's here.
So what? Hangar bay?
Hello there.
There was a fight in the hangar bay.
What a fancy shirt.
There's always a fight in the hangar bay late night Saturdays, right?
Boomer Council invasion.
Yes.
Yes.
I was just mentioning earlier, I have not been invited to a Boomer Council, and I don't know if I'm Boomer enough. I would hope so.
Show. Dude, we only run 4. It's the one show where I'm like, nope, nobody can come in.
Yeah, that's a good point. I respect that.
Fair enough.
I respect that.
Hello, friends.
Hello. So,
Hello,
did you have fun on the legendary Tron birthday stream, X-Wing?
Things started to get very spicy after you left. A little inappropriate.
Yeah, I believe it. But at the same time, it was fun. And of course, Tron, if you watch this later, happy birthday, man. Hope you had fun today.
Yeah, happy birthday.
Yeah.
Yes. So X-Wing, we are talking about the first 5 episodes of Clone Wars Season 2. And currently we're on the episode Cargo of Doom. And so far where we are in the episode, as far as my recap description, is the part where Anakin and Ahsoka are facing off against Cad Bane and the droids in the hangar of the Separatist ship. And at certain points in the fight, it goes 0 gravity. So basically up to this point with this episode and the previous, what are your thoughts?
I don't remember. I'm going to be honest with you. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm gonna have to look it up to try to kick my memory because I do not remember. I think this is early Ahsoka, right? So she still has her green. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
And don't worry, man. I'm looking at Wikipedia for my recap here to help me too, because my memory is crap.
No worries.
This wasn't when they were chasing. No, because that was the movie when they were. Wait, when were they chasing after Cad Bane with the holocron that had the Force sensitive?
That's this.
This is it. This is it.
This was it. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm up to speed.
Yeah. Next episode is when he goes after the younglings. But this is when he has the holocron. They're confronting him on the Separatist ship.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So anyways,
it was super high stakes.
Yeah.
Yes, it was. So back to the story. So what happens next is at one point Anakin and Ahsoka get separated because Ahsoka decides to actually chase off after Cad Bane, which is what he wanted. So she is captured and put into an airlock. Anakin is lured to where they are, and basically he's forced to open the holocron. Otherwise, Cad Bane will open the airlock out into space and send Ahsoka with it. So Anakin opens the holocron, and ultimately, at least in the moment, Cad Bane gets what he wants. But Anakin, briefly again, I think this is the second time ever in canon we see Anakin use 2 lightsabers in a row. He's able to make Cad Bane retreat, although he does open the airlock trying to kill off Ahsoka. They both survive. Meanwhile, the firefight between the clones and the droids are still going on, and there's a couple of really volatile, I'm guessing either bombs or fuel canisters that are around, and there's fire spreading in the hangar. So everyone's got to get out of here because the ship's about to go up in flames. And literally everyone gets out of there right at the last minute, including one weird acting clone that's acting injured but strangely does not sound like D. Bradley Baker. And more on that, by the way, in the next episode. But anyways, that is Cargo of Doom. So again, what did you guys think of this episode? Was there anything that I missed? Anything that stood out to you guys?
The thing that stood out to me most was just how fearless Cad Bane is when facing Jedi. Like, who else that's not Force sensitive is like unafraid like that when he's facing Jedi? Pretty much only him that I can think of right now.
At least in
he's
this
got
episode,
just
I would say.
Confidence and a swagger, man.
Yeah, it's not even like oh, I gotta fight the Jedi. It's like I gotta take care of the Jedi.
Ooh, I like that.
Oh yeah,
Literally concept art of Cad Bane.
The second one looks
love
like
the
he's
character
from Soviet Russia.
Yeah, I love the design they went with though.
Mm-hmm.
It's so cool.
Yeah,
and that is a good point.
Yeah.
Also Jango, but at this point in the story, Jango's dead.
Right.
Yeah, he doesn't care.
Right.
He doesn't matter.
But even then, it wasn't such a boldness.
Yeah.
As Cad Bane has.
Yeah.
Like Cad Bane is like fighting the Jedi as if they're beneath him. Like he just comes from that approach of like, I am confident in my own abilities, and I have to take care of this. So
right.
Oh,
now what were you about to say, Michael?
Let me think. Oh yeah, did you point out the small little snippet of where Ahsoka basically convinces Anakin to basically wait to capture Cad Bane until later?
Oh yeah, that's right. Because
this is where we see a little bit of Ahsoka start to mature a little bit and start applying those lessons that she's learned.
You're right, because Anakin, there's a scene where Anakin wants to rush off and get Cad Bane, but Ahsoka basically is like, there'll be another day. Patience, master, which is usually not something that the student says to the master. But again, it's Anakin, so he still has lots to learn, even though he's the one right now that is the teacher.
Yeah. And yeah, Dave Filoni specifically put this in because of the fact that she's almost growing up, even though that at this point in the story she's still like 14, and you know how 14-year-olds are because we have one in our household.
Yeah, shout out to Epic John, by the way.
let's put it like that.
Sorry about that, Lance.
No worries.
Oh, it's fine.
Sorry about what? You having those cheap Apple earbuds still?
No, Mrs. X-Wing just
Hey.
Yo.
I use them too.
Yo.
What's his name? Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers. That guy probably makes like $1 million a year. Still wears earbuds.
They work.
I mean, yeah,
they do.
Yeah.
So, Matt Cave, X-Wing, anything that stood out to you with this particular episode that you want to mention?
It's really
watched it.
It's Cad Bane that steals it, man. That's why I love this arc so much. Cad Bane is a character unlike we've really ever seen in any of the rest of the saga, even in comparison to Boba Fett and Jango and all that. Like, he's on another level. I don't know who voices him. I love his voice. It's so perfect.
What is his accent?
William Dafoe.
Idea. I have no idea because
not a clue.
It's like
so many
Hispanic accent together. Almost.
I feel like he doesn't even really have that Narlian accent. He just sounds like
it's pretty clear. It's more clear than I remembered even from
an accent. But he's also got like the tubing that goes into his throat, so it alters his voice a bit. I think that's what I like about it so much is that he sounds partially robotic, and it's just man. He's so
because he's got upgrades, but he's not like cyborg.
I would piggyback off of you, Matt Cave, and say, like we've never seen a character like this before. And you look at what happens when Ahsoka is running from the Jedi Order. That's a Jedi running from the Jedi Order, and she's keeping up her own. But when you go back and you look at Cad Bane running from, potentially one of the most powerful Jedi in the world, Cad Bane is keeping his own.
Yeah.
Running away from, one of the most powerful Jedi in the galaxy. So it shows you the level that guy operates on.
Yeah.
Yeah. What Cobra is saying right here, I was just going to pose to you guys. What is the likelihood that we see Cad Bane in Book of Boba Fett?
Ooh.
I think very likely. I think they teased it already.
I think it'll all depend on what happens in Bad Batch Season 2, if I'm being completely honest.
But Book of Boba Fett comes
Cad
first.
Bane in front of Mace Windu, bro.
That's true.
Yeah, Book of Boba comes first. I think what we're gonna get. Did you all see the deleted sequence of Boba versus Cad Bane?
Yes.
The animatics and everything. So what I think we're gonna get in Boba Fett is a flashback and do a recreation in live action of that moment, because I think what's going to be the giveaway that it's a flashback is that all of a sudden the dent on Boba's helmet is going to be gone, and Cad Bane put that dent there.
Yeah,
that's what I think is going to happen.
Yeah, and then, of course, in Bad Batch, we actually did see some metal plating on.
But why does Cad Bane shoot somebody who's clearly armored and Beskar in the head?
It's got to be do blasters even carry that much momentum? Or was that like a blunt force object like hitting him?
It could be that his blasters are slug throwers. Oh, we just lost X-Wing.
Uh-oh.
But yeah, slug throwers, for those that don't know, are different than blasters in the Star Wars universe because slug throwers actually shoot a metal projectile. That's what the Tusken Raiders were shooting at the pod racers in Episode 1, and why you actually see metal bouncing off of them.
Yeah, you hear it like ding, like right off of it.
In fact, that's kind of like what Mando's big rifle is, except it's a disruptor, but it also relies on projectiles.
Yeah.
So what is the first time we see him with the dent in his helmet, timeline wise?
As of right now, Empire Strikes Back.
Okay. So it was there in the original trilogy. That was essentially my question.
I'm trying to think though, is it there in the special edition of A New Hope when he just walks on screen for a brief moment?
Let me look.
Because how much time is between A New Hope and Empire? It's not much. But it's at least a few months, right?
5 years, I want to say. Okay, I have the picture.
No, it's like 2 years.
Yeah.
I thought it was 5 or 3.
Like, I know there's a pretty decent jump between Empire and Jedi, but I never remember what's between A New Hope and
Hey, Scorpion.
Yep.
Hey.
Okay, so there's the picture, and yes, the dent is there.
Okay.
So this is pre-OT that he gets it.
Yes.
Because that whole sequence would have been in Clone Wars, whichever season. Welcome back, Amanda.
Yeah, everything all right on your end, man?
Whoop,
I think you're muted.
Or his mic's unplugged.
Yeah, I don't know.
Dude, this isn't Boomer Council. You can't keep coming in all muted.
Connection is like.
I heard you a little bit.
I'm sorry.
He's gone.
He was having connection issues over on Tron's stream also. Something's going on. I'm gonna message him on Discord, just tell him to bounce his router and just see what...
Okay. So while you're doing that, I'll go ahead and start describing the next episode, which is Children of the Force. So this is where we see Cad Bane actually going after the different Force-sensitive children around the galaxy. So the episode starts with Anakin and Ahsoka returning from their mission and getting back aboard the Resolute, and they think that Cad Bane is dead. And Ahsoka notices this one lone clone trooper named Denel that supposedly killed Cad Bane and was injured. And she's asking him, "Hey, you look hurt. Do you need help?" And of course, the clone doesn't answer. At the same time, Anakin notices that there's blood on the ground, and it's green. So he realizes that, again, crewmate, there is an imposter among us, and it's too late, though, because Cad Bane attacks Ahsoka and makes a run for one of the ships and manages to get away, even though they try to stop him by shutting down the hyperspace rings. So after this, Anakin and Ahsoka report to the Jedi Council and tell them what happened. So now with the holocron and the crystal gone, the only way that they can find Cad Bane. Darth Bane's dead by now.
Or big time jump there.
Yeah. Oops. Also, we don't see his ghost until, spoiler alert, season 6. I do remember that. But yeah, so in order for them to find Cad Bane, Anakin, Mace Windu, Yoda, and Obi-Wan basically have this group meditation session where they try and sense through the Force where, I guess, the closest or most Force-sensitive children near them are. And one leads them to Gleonselm, one leads them to Naboo, to the home of the Gungans.
Yep. A Force-sensitive Gungan.
Yep. One...
Like we haven't already seen that before.
In Bombad Jedi, I believe.
I knew you were gonna...
Hashtag Darth Jar Jar is real.
Yeah. He wore that cloak too well.
And he was...
Who was that Gungan's father? Sorry.
Yeah, clearly mind controlling the slug.
There was no father. The mother clearly just carried him and gave birth and raised him. Can't explain what happened.
What if Jar Jar's clumsiness was him, just using the Force on picking up cups and stuff?
I thought you were going down a dark path right there.
Oh,
Even you're like, what if he was like, whoa?
No, I'm going down a path you can follow.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Anyways, though, we cut to another scene of Darth Sidious getting in touch with Bane, instructing him to go and find and kidnap the kids. And it's interesting that to me, one of the things that stuck out to me was that Bane considers it rash to kidnap innocents, but doesn't care as long as he gets paid. And that brings me to a discussion I want to have with you guys real quick. Suppose I think we can all agree that ultimately Cad Bane's loyalty is to his wallet. He just wants to do the job to get paid, right?
I would say yes, but not from the perspective of I got to get all the money I can. It's more of like an honor thing. Like if I'm doing this, I'm getting paid.
Right.
Like that is his oath that he holds to rather than I'm trying to get rich. Because I'm sure if that was his goal, he wouldn't take as big of a risks. But it's almost like his purpose is I have to complete the job. And part of that is getting paid. Like
yes.
I have to be worth my hire.
Okay. Having said all of that, and I agree, but having said all of that, imagine if the Republic had, for whatever reason, hired Cad Bane. Like, imagine if this story had gone differently, where Cad Bane was an ally to the Jedi, working on some sort of mission where a bounty hunter would be needed instead of a recurring enemy. How do you think that would have turned out?
I don't think the Jedi would use bounty hunters. Have they before? Like aside from working alongside them, have they like used bounty hunters to complete missions?
I don't think so, but what I'm saying is suppose they were put in a position where the Jedi had no choice. Like they were, like say Palpatine's assigned the Jedi, saying, hey, we need help doing this for the war, but this bounty hunter is going to come in and help you. Please do it.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think that would go?
I honestly have no idea.
I mean, maybe somewhere in the EU there are stories of it happening, but I don't think the Jedi would, say willingly do that. They'd find their own ways of going about this. I feel like they would turn to like Republic authorities before they would even think to go to a bounty hunter. Because the Jedi really don't agree with bounty hunter methods and everything and what they do. They get that there's a code and an honor code and everything, but I don't think they would take that path.
Everyone
I agree.
there?
Did we lose Paul?
Yeah, I'm here.
That's weird.
Oh, there you are.
My internet just blipped out for whatever reason.
I didn't notice it.
It is only natural.
I guess, but it still worries me, especially since this is on my internet and not my grandmother's internet that I've been using.
You have two systems set up right now?
Yes, my grandmother's CenturyLink and my Xfinity, which is what I'm running off of right now.
Which is supposed to be fast.
It is. Right? It is fast. It's just
the other Wi-Fi network could be interfering a little bit, but we can go into depth in that on Discord at some point.
Right. So anyways, back to the story. So after this, and after the Jedi have done their group meditation thing, we see Cad Bane go to Rhodia wearing a Jedi cloak, and he's talking to this one mother, trying to pose as a Jedi, saying, listen, there's this bounty hunter that's going to come and kidnap your child. I know that he wasn't supposed to go till later, but for his safety, we need to take him now. And of course, the mother tries to resist this at first, but then Cad Bane pulls the whole, okay, it's fine. Just look into this bright light and everything's gonna be okay. Meanwhile, the Jedi also try to go to Naboo and find that Cad Bane's there to steal a Gungan child, but they are able to save the Gungan child, who by the way, I just looked this up. The Gungan child's name is Ruru Page. So Anakin and Ahsoka are there. Kenobi, by the way, tried to go to Rhodia to save the Rhodian child, but he failed, unfortunately. But Anakin and Ahsoka actually catch Bane on Naboo, and Paige is ultimately safe. Now, on a Star Destroyer, Bane is being held prisoner, and and both Anakin, Obi-Wan, Mace Windu, and Ahsoka are trying to interrogate him. And of course, standard non-force interrogation methods aren't working. So, Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Mace Windu literally try a triple Jedi mind trick on him, where all three of them do the whole "you will tell us where the children are" thing with way more each time more intense than the last, and it almost makes him crack.
I mean, it was definitely uncomfortable for him, so I think
I think his mind would have broken before he was allowed his will to be controlled.
Right.
This is an episode that really shows the darker side of this series, because this one's pretty dark, but even that moment, that actually shows how invasive the Jedi mind trick is. That if you don't keep it in check, you're putting the victim, in physical pain, physical harm. Like, I think they could have actually killed him if they kept going too much.
Which was my point, is Bane is strong-willed enough, and Obi-Wan even says that. Bane is strong-willed enough that I believe it would have either killed him or like really messed him up before he would have allowed himself to be controlled. Which is why he says, I don't want to go through that again. I'll tell you where the kids are.
Yes, so in a way the interrogation and the Jedi mind trick ultimately works in that he cooperates at least a little bit, but him actually going, I will take you to the children, like someone that normally has been Jedi mind tricked,
it doesn't
that
work
that wouldn't have happened.
No.
Right.
Yeah. So
do you think he has been do you think it's been attempted before on him before this point that some Jedi tried to mind and control him? Because I know he has the rebreather primarily for Jedi force chokes, or I guess it's not a Jedi thing, but force choke in general is kind of the reason he has that whole breathing apparatus, is to be protected against that. Do you think he's had that mind control before, or do you think that's the first time he's ever had his mind probed by a Jedi like that?
I would be surprised if that was the first time, because we really don't know anything about Cad Bane prior to the season 1 finale of the Clone Wars. But if he hadn't, given how prepared otherwise he is for a Jedi with the breathing apparatus, like you mentioned, as well as other things that he has, like electric probes in his hands to shock Jedi, even being able, spoiler alert for season 3, to somewhat, at least for a short amount of time, hold his own against Obi-Wan lightsaber to lightsaber, I'd be surprised if he hadn't at least attempted a mind trick on him up to this point.
I would think he's been through all of it in one way or another, but he's so smart and cunning that he's like, okay, I'm never letting that happen to me again. And a lot of that stuff he's got is probably custom. Like, he didn't just go and get, like, no one else has this stuff. That's him.
Right.
I'm pretty sure he made it all himself, didn't pay anyone else to.
Probably.
So anyways, continuing on with the story, they also find that his ship's navigation logs had been wiped. And like I said, Kenobi and Mace Windu go to find the children with Cad Bane as their guide, And Windu instructs Anakin and Ahsoka to report to the Chancellor. And here's an interesting thing. This is also the first time in canon that we see Anakin side with Palpatine when it comes to him making a choice between the Jedi and of course the Senate, because Kenobi and Mace Windu ultimately says that the Chancellor doesn't need to know that this is just a Jedi affair, but Anakin's like, as long as we continue to operate as generals of the clone army, it becomes the Chancellor's affair. And of course, we know that as the series goes on, especially into Revenge of the Sith, Anakin is going to continuously side with the Chancellor over the Council more and more. But seeing it start here was pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
this starts to take us into very familiar territory as we get into probably the darkest moment in this episode, in this story arc, is that we get into the topic of, well, killing younglings, which we have seen represented before.
Because they said enslavement procedure or something is what Palpatine said at the beginning. I didn't know if that was a mind control process or what, but then he said start the surgery. Then I was like, oh, I don't know what that entails.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound good at all.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So we then, after, of course, Anakin tells Palpatine what happened, of course, Palpatine has to pretend like he doesn't know, even though clearly he's behind it all. We then cut to, of all places, Mustafar. And that's where the kids are being held, and where a hologram of Palpatine is overseeing two droids as they are preparing to do their procedures on the kids. And yeah, like you said, this is where we talk about Palpatine talking about the slave procedure or whatever it is, the slave chip mind thing.
Yeah.
And that makes me wonder, what could Palpatine possibly... I know he kind of says it, an army of force-sensitive people subject that use the dark side that serve him. That makes me wonder, do you think this was him planning that far ahead in advance for the Inquisitors?
It's definitely plausible, because Palpatine had contingency plans for his contingency plans, especially when it came time for his death, where Operation Cinder from Battlefront 2 was one of them.
True. But at the same time, that kind of it kind of reminds me, for those that have played Jedi Fallen Order,
exactly
of Trilla's story. Because Trilla, for those that, spoiler alert for that game, Trilla sort of is the main villain of that story, and she is the second sister. She's one of the Inquisitors, but she starts out as a Jedi Padawan that gets captured during Order 66, and she is submitted to horrendous torture alongside her master in this secret Imperial lab. However, ultimately that torture breaks her, and she ends up turning to the dark side, and she joins the Inquisitors. So maybe this could have been some early research into that, but even worse, like literally, you could say perhaps surgically changing the youngling's affinity for what side of the Force they want to serve, because you could argue that Anakin was more in tune with the dark side than he was in the light. It was much easier for him to use the dark side, especially when you get toward episode 3, than it was for him to use the light side. So maybe something like that could be artificially altered.
I think, kind of going back to what Michael was saying, is he had a plan for everything, and I'm sure he had a dozen plans in the works at all times. This is just one that we saw on screen that the Jedi discovered. So if not for the Inquisitors, they could have been used for cloning processes, everything he was into that we get in the extended universe. So I think he was just up to so many different things that it kind of is irrelevant what his plan for this one specifically was, because he kind of just bet in a bunch of different places, and whichever one landed, then, he had his fingers everywhere.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Plus, also, when you have just that many plans, it's only natural that some of them are going to fail.
Right, but managing those failures in a way that doesn't give you away is what he was really good at.
Yes, because he stayed hidden as the Sith for literally half his life. So anyways, while this is going on, Obi-Wan and Mace Windu arrive at this random remote space station where they don't sense that the children are there. Cad Bane says the children are safe. I've only brought you here to get the holocron. And by the way, whoever that was sneezing in the background, bless you. Basically, Windu almost, he doesn't want to be tricked, but at the same time, he sort of tricks himself into setting off the sensor alarm in the base, and that allows Cad Bane to escape, and Obi-Wan and Mace Windu have to defend themselves from the traps, although they do manage to get their hands on the holocron again, and I do believe the crystal with it.
Yes.
While that's going on, Anakin and Ahsoka find that even though Cad Bane had scrubbed his flight logs, he hadn't scrubbed his fuel logs, and they also noticed some ash that was on his ship, and that clues them into Mustafar. And so they go there, and that's where they discover the kids are. And they rescue the kids literally right at the last possible moment that they could, because Sidious, as the hologram, realizes that Anakin and Ahsoka are on their way there, and basically he's like, get the kids out of there, move them to a secondary place, and get rid of all evidence. So this building was set to slide down the mountain into the lava, because if you remember from seeing Mustafar in Revenge of the Sith, every building on Mustafar, because it's so hot being a volcanic world, has some sort of force field along the bottom of it to protect it from that intense heat. So that building's sensor or force field got turned off to help get rid of the evidence. But Anakin and Ahsoka save the kids.
Those droids were kind of gnarly.
They were.
Like, for being medical droids or assistant droids, like whatever they were, like, they didn't have much to fight with, but they were not going down easy.
Yeah.
No, they weren't either. The fact that it ultimately took them being dropped into the lava too says a lot, at least for their drive or programming, we'll say, to get the job done.
Yeah. I'm sure if they weren't holding the kids as well, they would have been finished off a little quicker.
Right.
But
anyways, that's pretty much it with this episode. They take the kids back to where they're supposed to be. Anakin and Ahsoka go to the council and tell them that they were unable to find out who was behind the kidnappings, and of course Yoda says, "Careful, we must be going forward."
Yeah.
So, what did you guys think of this episode?
And this one concludes this particular story arc. And like you said, lots of now that we have Jedi Fallen Order, very reminiscent of that storyline. It's interesting. You know what it kind of reminds me of? It reminds me of the knock list in Mission Impossible, where they have this list of all of the undercover agents' real identities. And it's just kind of like, I know you kind of have to have that, but man, why is that so accessible? And now the Jedi have this list of all these Force-sensitive younglings across the galaxy, all contained in this one holocron. Now, that's actually a question I have. Is it just the one? Is this the same holocron that in Jedi Fallen Order that he destroys?
I would say it's possible.
Like, would
I
you have
wouldn't
that
know.
duplicated? I don't know. I feel like it might be
Maybe.
the same one.
Yeah, because
Maybe.
if you think about it, in Jedi Fallen Order, a very similar list was on that holocron, and not only that,
Be
but
right back, by
also
the way.
the location of where it was hidden. Like it was hidden on a remote planet with an uber ancient vault.
Yeah.
And then, let's see. I do want to say when I saw Rebels, I think there was also a holocron involved in one of the similar episodes, but we can talk about that another time.
Hmm.
So, anyways, while he is gone, Matt, I'm thinking about possibly watching Rubber soon. So it's gonna happen at least before I leave,
Nice.
because I need to experience
Just
the.
need to know.
I just need to know.
You're gonna take that knowledge with you,
Yes.
and your squad mates, everyone, they don't know what's coming because you're
Yeah.
gonna share it.
Mhm.
It's awesome. I'm waiting
Yeah.
for Sus T to come and visit, and then we're gonna
Mhm.
watch it together.
Yeah, I honestly can't wait. I'm both scared and excited for it at the same time.
Are you talking about the holiday special?
No. Although I am watching the holiday special.
Yeah, it is that time of
this
year
year.
now, Michael. We need to get on that.
Have
Yeah.
you never seen the holiday special?
I have
Not
never
yet.
seen it. Will you all allow me to host a stream where we talk about it
Absolutely.
Sure, why
after
not?
we watch it? Okay.
Yeah.
I have watched the holiday special 3 times in my life.
Yeah.
What if just before that stream, sort of like what I've been doing with my friends on Tuesday Night Trek, we do a private watch party for it in Discord?
Mm.
Yeah.
You can do that?
Mhm. You're talking
All
about like right before,
Just sometime close
or
before.
just like okay.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be the
Not a
day of.
long it's not a long special,
Yeah.
but it
I'm down.
feels like it's forever.
Yeah.
Anyways, what I was telling Matt Cave is that I'm gonna be watching Rubber soon. I don't know when, but I know it's gonna be soon.
You need to
Now-
get it before you leave for boot camp.
I know. And
One
he had
question about the
said-
holiday special, real quick, is I know it's not canon. Was it ever intended to be canon, or was it always
don't
just
think
a
so.
side thing?
I think it was always just a side thing.
Okay.
It was a side thing that I think if it was better received may have been part of it, but immediately, because I don't think it was like this was George Lucas approved to a point. This wasn't like he was there directing this. This was like a made for TV thing, and the network
Yeah,
made
it
it.
was like a whole independent thing, and George Lucas was responsible only by association because that was his IP.
Interesting.
Right.
I'll research. I'll do all my research before we watch it as well.
Yes.
So-
So yeah, how can we watch it actually?
The whole thing's on YouTube.
Yeah, Matt Cave, you can host the watch party.
Yeah, I
Oh,
saved the link.
Real quick, also, Cobra Disney Jedi brought up something really cool. Also, watch Star Wars on the Muppet Show. Michael and I have seen that, and that is amazing.
I have that on DVD.
Yeah,
of course you do. I wouldn't question it.
But yeah, we could probably do something involving the Muppet Show Star Wars episode 2. I don't know when, but we'll get to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right.
So, anyways,
so let's.
Next episode.
The next episode is Senate Spy, and I have somewhat of a funny story to tell about this one. So this was the very first episode of this show that Michael and I had ever seen. And here's the thing. We originally didn't intend to watch this episode because when I was in 9th grade, of course, every 9th grader had some form of iPod, be it an iPod Nano, iPod Touch, whatever you. I had an iPod Touch, but the rules of the house were anything that I wanted put on it from iTunes, Dad had to do it for me, and I had to ask his permission. Well,
Yeah.
I wanted the Clone Wars movie on my iPod Touch. And I'm guessing it wasn't on the iTunes store, but so he got me an episode of the show, but just randomly it was this episode. I'm guessing it was because this was like a free promotional thing they were doing, because sometimes back in the day iTunes would do free episodes of shows. So he got me this one, and at first when I saw it, I was like, what is this? There's no lightsaber fights, there's no action, it's just it's boring. But since I've grown up, I have learned to appreciate it more. So let's go into what happens. And I almost don't need to look at notes for this one. I pretty much know it by heart.
Yeah.
So basically, there's this one senator from the planet Scipio named Rush Clovis that
I hate him.
I hate him.
Yeah. He works
if
with
he was alive, I'd probably
we might have to update.
bones.
We might have to update our least favorite characters list after we make it through Clone Wars.
Yeah. I mean,
Well,
he's probably
we could do a Clone Wars
character.
exclusive one.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea.
Yeah, let me rephrase this. He is probably a well-written character. I will approve of that, but just based on the kind of character he is, I just hate him. I hate everything about him.
Fair enough. So anyways, the Jedi Council suspect that Rush Clovis is in league with the Separatists, and they need someone to spy on him to find out whether or not this is true. Obviously, a Jedi is not right for the job here, so they choose a senator. And what better senator to choose than one that has had a relationship with him in the past, one Padme Amidala. But the episode actually starts on Anakin coming home from a mission, and he brought dinner home to have with Padme, and they're settling in for a romantic evening.
Yeah.
But the night gets cut short because Anakin hasn't yet reported in to the Jedi Council, and they keep ringing him. And so eventually it's like, sorry, Padme, I have to go in. And clearly Padme, she says she understands, but clearly she is not happy. And Anakin pulls the line of, I'm sorry, don't take this personally. Duty comes first, especially in wartime. And then Anakin goes to the Jedi Council, and the council tells him that we think Rush Clovis is a separatist, but we're going to ask Padme to spy on him to find out. And of course, Anakin is flustered, to say the least, at hearing this. He's like, I don't think this is a good idea. Obi-Wan gives him a look when he says this. It's like, why do you care whether or not she does this? So
I thought it was almost like he kind of knew what was up, but it was more of like, don't display that emotion here.
Yeah. Yeah. That look pretty much confirmed for me right there that Obi-Wan knew the whole time. In fact, I believe they say it in the novelization of Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, we talked about that before. Yeah.
Yeah, the scene where he says Anakin is the father, and he's like, we pretend not, something to the effect of,
we pretend I don't know. Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
So the next scene shows Anakin meeting up with Padme in the Senate building, and clearly Padme is still upset about what happened the night before. And Anakin tells Padme and about what's going on with Rush Clovis, and clearly she's very surprised about this. And Anakin, and at first Padme's like, why are you telling me this? Is the council trying to convince you to get me to spy on him? And he's like, no, I'm trying to get you out of spying for him and they have this big argument on it, literally in the middle of the main Senate room, where somehow they didn't attract attention. But anyways, they have this big argument where Padme thinks that Anakin thinks that she's not ready for it, that she can't handle it, and they have a big argument about that. But ultimately, Anakin's like, look, I'm just not going to let you do this. And Padme rightfully says, it's not your choice to make. It's mine. I accept this mission.
Yeah.
And she throws the same line right back at him of duty comes first, especially in wartime. So Padme goes to the Jedi Council to officially hear what they want her to do. And they want her to specifically rekindle her old friendship with Clovis, which involves her going out to a romantic dinner with him on Coruscant, where he mentions that he's heading to Cato Nemoidia to basically be the collector for some unpaid debts that the Nemoidians owe the banking clan. And Padme mentions how she needs to go to Cato Nemoidia for official business also. And Rush comes up with the idea, of the two of them going to Cato Nemoidia together. So that's exactly what happens. And Anakin goes undercover on this mission as one of the Senate pilots on their transport. And it's clear right off the bat that Anakin is jealous of Clovis because he gives Padme a look when she hugs Clovis. He fakes that the seat between where Clovis and Padme are sitting is broken. Like the restraint is broken, so they can't sit side by side to each other. And he purposefully, steers the ship in a really jerky manner to keep Clovis's hands off of Padme. So, what did you guys think of all of that so far?
I don't blame Anakin.
I don't blame him one bit either.
No, it's
especially.
I do think as part of the mission, he probably should have kept his emotions hidden a little bit. But as far as what his emotions were, I don't blame him at all.
Yeah. Because obviously you, Tim, and Matt, you guys both have wives, and I'm sure you would, at minimum, be doing something similar to like this if you were in the same situation with your own wife and someone that is trying to be all handsy with her.
I mean, like a hug, I'd be like, whatever. But like looking in the security camera and seeing them all like, I'd be like,
yeah, especially someone as ugly as this. Just look at that ugly face there.
Yeah.
Oh, what a face! That's so almost as punchable as
that is such a perfect nose that just needs to be broken.
Well, first the makeup or whatever he's got needs to go,
and his name is Jerkface too.
Yes. Jerkface too.
Yes.
And anyone with a face like that, I call him a jerk face. Like you look at someone's face and you just know they're a jerk. Poe Dameron had that face.
Aw, poor Oscar Isaac.
No. Oscar Isaac's fine. And like other things, it's not just him. It was like the Poe Dameron. Like think back to when he says somehow Palpatine returned. Like that face, that's punchable. That's a jerk face.
He was trying not to throw up while he said that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Before we continue, when are we doing this sequel bashing stream, man?
It's so painful. We're just
push it off. Okay. All right. We will talk, and I know we say this like every week. We're gonna talk in Discord about when we're watching The Force Awakens. We're gonna set a date. We're gonna.
You know what? The Force Awakens is not what I'm worried about.
We're gonna actually hold on.
I don't want it.
Wait, did you just say we're gonna sedate ourselves before watching Force Awakens?
I'll sedate myself. Yeah, no problem. I'm good.
Like mug full of NyQuil and a mug full of coffee, and I don't even know what's going to happen. Isn't that what the kids do these days?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I need a rubber band or something.
Heroin. It's the international sign for heroin.
Wait, hold on. No, you're doing it wrong. It's sheesh.
Yeah.
Sheesh. When you throw something, you say yeast.
Yeah.
I don't
See,
even know
we're
what that means. My
boomers.
son says it all the time. His dad yeeted him. I'm like, what are you saying to me right now?
Give him the yeast.
See, we can be boomers too because we don't know the lingo.
Although yeet actually is a legit word. So it's.
I don't know. First time I ever heard it, my son was playing Fortnite and he's just I got yeeted. I'm like, what? What are you playing?
Yeeted all over the place.
Are you even allowed to say that? What does it mean?
Yeah.
I have to go to my wife and ask these things. The kid said something again. I don't know what he's talking about.
All right. So after that detour, getting back to the story.
Yeah, back to Punch Face.
Yes.
Yep.
I'm just going to call him that for the rest of the episode. So
I'm going to rush in and punch his face.
So Padme and Punch Face
I'm going to punch him right in the Clovis.
Wait, where's that on the bottom? Okay, we need to get back on track.
Yeah.
All right, so
anyways, they go to Cad and Demodia.
Yes.
And they meet up with Luck. What is his name?
Lot Dodd.
Lock
That's what
Dodd.
it is.
Lock Dodd, who is also disgusting. I don't like him.
No, he's atrocious. He honestly is my least favorite Nemoidian character. I think he's even worse than Newt Gunray is.
Mm-hmm.
I would agree with that.
Because Newt Gunray may have wanted Senator Amidala dead in Attack of the Clones, but he was never willing to get his hands dirty to do it. Meanwhile, Lot Dodd, spoiler alert, actually literally gets his hands dirty all over that mug.
So sorry.
Wait.
What are we?
Wait. So what just happened?
I don't know. I think
I'm still laughing over punch him right in the Clovis.
I can't.
I thought that we were all talking about how it sounded when you said he literally gets his hand dirty.
I mean, figuratively speaking, of
All
course.
of the above.
You just said it with such passion. I'm gonna punch him right in his Clovis.
Jeez.
I will say
my
this.
goodness.
Okay,
I will
I'm
say
sorry
this.
for derailing the stream.
It's fine.
I will
it's
say this.
fine.
I'll probably be laughing harder than this whenever I watch Rubber. All I'm saying.
Guarantee it. Guarantee it.
Guys, I'll be right back.
Yeah.
I'll be back in 2 seconds.
Okay.
I gotta clip that for a short.
Do it.
Yeah.
Punch him right in the Clovis.
Do it. Heck, I'll send you the video
Okay.
file once I'm done.
All right.
All right. So, like I was saying though, they make it to Cad and
Yes.
Nemoidia, and of course, Lot Dodd appears professional and welcomes them to Cad and Nemoidia. But later on, Lot Dodd and Clovis and Poggle the Lesser, that weird that
Geonosian.
dark scorpion. I'm not highlighting that, but that's funny. But yeah,
Oh god. Oh no.
So anyways, you good, Batcave?
I'm good.
Okay. So anyways, they're discussing this droid factory that they're trying to build on Geonosis, apparently the biggest one in the whole separatist regime.
Mm-hmm.
But Clovis is trying to strong arm Lot Dod again because non-payment, and it's right at that moment that Padme walks in on them because again she's supposed to be spying on them, and they have somewhat of an at least halfway tender moment right there where they says, "Come on, let's go. I'll help you get ready for dinner." And that's when Lot Dod realizes that Clovis has a weakness, that being Padme.
Mm-hmm.
So they come up with the plan to poison her as blackmail to Clovis. So later on, of course, Padme shows up in a very nice dress, by the way, ready for dinner, and her and Senator Dodd share a drink. But Senator Dodd literally does this, wipes his thumb across the cup, and leaves some sort of green residue on it, and that's the poison, which I don't know what that stuff is, and I don't want to know. But clearly it's poisonous to Padme, and she drinks it, and over the course of the night, she starts feeling bad. So while Clovis gets her something else to drink, she goes back to that same library to look at the hologram herself. And side note, Clovis password protected this hologram with her name. So she downloads the information and sends it to Anakin. By the time that Clovis comes back, she nearly gets caught with it, but is able to play it off and actually slip the disc to Anakin, although right at that moment she faints. So Clovis confronts Dodd about what's going on, and that's when Dodd tells him that, why'd you even bring her here? You know that she's a Republic spy. And at first Clovis doesn't want to believe that, but then he goes to find that the hologram is indeed gone. So that's when he finally has that conversation, like, what'd you do with this? And that's when Anakin shows up and finally gets involved. So he manages to intimidate Clovis into helping them escape. But right as they get back to like the main lobby of the building, Senator Dodd catches up to them, and after a very intense conversation, Clovis pretty much at gunpoint tells Dodd to give the antidote, which he does. And they make it out, but instead of giving back the data to Clovis, Anakin decides, you know what? I'm just going to leave you. I'm going to let you handle this by yourself. And then right behind Clovis shows up Dodd and like 5 or 6 battle droids.
And he's like, that's where Clovis, let's talk.
Yep. And that's the end of the episode.
Yeah.
Now, spoiler alert, by the way, for season 6, Clovis does come back. So he does survive this.
Yeah.
But overall, punching the Clovis aside, what did you guys think of this?
Well, I do think that on a more serious note, as a standalone episode, when I first saw this with you, I think it was somewhat underwhelming because I saw like a few episodes such as Lair of Grievous. We obviously saw the Clone Wars movie when it first came out. So as a standalone episode, it felt underwhelming. But of course, knowing what happens next, this is actually probably the kind of different that we need in the Clone Wars, where the Clone Wars doesn't necessarily have to be all lightsabers and blasters blazing, but rather actually be almost like a spy film.
Right, and that's honestly what I'm hoping for with Andor. And I've said this so many times. I really want it to be a spy movie, and secret missions and poisoning and getting in with the wrong crowd, going behind enemy lines. Like that's what I want to see. And Star Wars doesn't have to be blasters and laser battles and space stations and freighters and
even though all that's great,
right? It just doesn't have to be that all the time, because the story is what takes precedence. The characters, the story, the world is what is most important, more than how many lasers are flying across the screen at any given second. And I'm also hoping that's kind of what we get with Book of Boba Fett. And based on the trailers, it looks like that's the case. With a little bit less action than some of the more recent Star Wars media, a little bit more story and like realism to the characters. So, but
Right.
yeah, as far as it relates to this episode, it was a great episode. And I'm sure as a kid, if that's the only episode you saw, you're going to view it in a different light. But now looking at it, it's a great episode because you get to see like a senator is on a secret mission to spy on another senator. This is war. Like this is the stuff that would go on. So it's really cool to see that.
Yeah. This episode to me sort of embodies what you've always said, that basically the number one thing for Star Wars for you, Tim, has always been the world building. This is very much a world building episode, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So, Matt, what's your thoughts on this episode? Well, he probably
He's
had to
gone.
step away.
Yeah, he's gone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry,
There he is.
the missus is home.
Oh, gotcha. Tell him we said
This episode is something that that happens throughout the series. The Clone Wars goes heavy into the politics of this universe. They don't just stick to, like you said, just lightsabers and blasters. It really does have very adult oriented topics that it covers, and this episode is a really prime example of that. It's an important episode in what it's leading up to for the next story arc, but it's like one of those things where, like, yeah, they could have, being the type of show it is, they could have just not done an episode like this and jumped to the next story arc, and honestly nobody probably would have batted an eye at it. But I like that this type of episode exists to bring you into it, because it shows still that there's a lot that's going into it. It's not like we're just going battle after battle after battle. There's a reason why we're going to these places we're going to. Yeah. There's a reason when people we're trying to protect and stuff like that. So, and the very deepens the relationship with Padme and Anakin in a silly way, but you know, it's still there.
And even at the very beginning of the first season, where we see they're on Toydaria, basically battling for the loyalty of the Toydarians, to, you know, where the whole deal with Yoda and Asajj of like, hey, if I make it here and I defeat your battle droids, like, you give your loyalties to us. And we get to see what those planets do to choose different sides. And that's, again, one of the reasons why I love the Bad Batch, is because we got to see what happened after the war to those planets, the ones that were, you know, like Ryloth, that were just occupied. And also the other planets that did side with the CIS, how are they adjusting to the new empire? And maybe to some people this isn't the most important part of the story, and this isn't the most entertaining part of the story, and you do wish you had those, you know, story arc, and just like bam, 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 action the entire way through. But for other people, this kind of episode is essential, even if you don't appreciate it while you're watching that particular episode.
Yeah. And there's actually, I forget which season, it might also be this season, if not season 3. There's a great episode with a very similar tone that follows Padme and Ahsoka. And it's very political. It's that type of idea. It's like, what's going on with these planets? Not just like in Bad Batch we see post everything. This is what's going on with these planets during. And I don't want to say what it is because it is a spoiler, but it's a really great episode that I enjoy a lot. But again, it's one of those episodes, being an animated show, like, they had the choice to not do this. But I'm so glad that they did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that whole derailment, though,
I'm sorry.
I feel kind of drained after that. I don't know about you guys.
I'm kind of worn out. You know, one punch to the Clovis and you're down for the count.
That is true. I think that's going to become a running joke on this show now.
I think so.
Yeah.
Someone needs to send this to our Discord server. Just
all right. Let me ask you
for
this:
laughs and giggles.
what do you think would be worse, getting punched in the Clovis or getting kicked in the Pongrel?
Oh,
I think getting punched in the Clovis is worse.
Yes.
They're really close
I'll be back.
proximity,
I'll be
though,
right
to
back.
each other.
All right.
I took a kick to the Clovis and it barely
Tim. I did
Yep.
I don't know what I just broke. Something broke. I did bring something though for this stream. So I thought my boomer buddy was going to be here who likes toys, but I brought toys.
Hey, PJ, I just thought of something.
Was it?
I used to be an adventurer like you until I took a Clovis to the knee.
Or you took an arrow to the Clovis.
Oh, that's terrible. All right, let me set this up real quick here. How do I do this? Well, I'm gonna boomer the heck out of this.
Yeah.
Because I'll use my phone to make this happen. Okay. All right. Now this should be muted because I don't want to get double audio.
All right, what we got?
I don't know if you still need this microphone.
All right. Oh, hold on. Okay. Oh, you won't let me turn my volume off. All right, I'll move the microphone away a little bit. So I brought, in honor of the show, some Disney Infinity Clone Wars characters.
Ooh, I like that.
So we got now the kids have since broken the lightsabers off for the most part. So like Ahsoka used to have two, but she's not holding one.
I mean, technically that's still accurate.
Yeah, but can I turn on the light on my phone? I can't. I have not good light here. We got Anakin, Obi-Wan. We got Darth Maul.
That's cool.
But these characters are so well done. These used to have lightsabers.
Yeah. It's funny that you mentioned that because for a while I've thought about revisiting Disney Infinity, but this time on the PC.
I have it on Steam. Yeah, it's on the PC. You don't need the platform or the figures. All the characters are just in it. It's only one player on the PC. You can't do co-op.
Yeah.
Ahsoka, I think, is my favorite one, though. She's like...
For me, it's either me or Darth Vader. I would say.
Vader's great in there. But
I like how with those figurines, they stylized them, obviously, for the Disney.
Yep.
Whatever it's called. I never played it. But it has its own style, but they kept the Clone Wars design.
And it's the Clone Wars voice actors all reprising the roles for the game. So when you play, because you could play Clone Wars, Original Trilogy, and Force Awakens on Disney Infinity. The Clone Wars section pretty much looks like you're watching Clone Wars. Like it's like,
hey Peter,
really
Tony,
solid.
Yeah.
We named the rabbit, by the way.
Oh,
you named the rabbit?
We named him.
So you guys,
Sophie
you actually
named
kept him.
As of right now.
Awesome.
I will say this, Matt Cave. I did actually watch a video about Disney Infinity that was actually kind of sad, where supposedly there was going to be a fourth Disney Infinity, but they had canceled the project.
There's actually figures that exist in the world that were never shipped and were supposed to be for Disney to continue Disney Infinity 3.0 and go into 4.0. There's a Peter Pan one that never made it to market. There's a few things. But I'm glad they at least did the Star Wars side because it's fun.
Yeah, like I said, it was kind of sad to hear the news. Kind of like a similar video that PJ had sent me about Star Fox. I will say this: I'm glad that we had it, and I think soon I'm gonna revisit it.
a fun game.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. If I can get past the childish aspect of it, honestly, I'd give it another go.
And hey, I didn't mind playing it just to build a house.
Yeah.
Like that I enjoyed.
Yeah, I like the story
Right.
campaigns. Like I like that the Star Wars stuff had a campaign and a story. Disney
Mhm.
Infinity 2.0 followed the Avengers. We got tons of these figures, but it's so much fun. Like, it's great.
Yeah. But yeah,
Anyways, that was it. I wanted to show off some toys.
Nice.
I like
So
it.
anyways, next episode is the
Landing at Point Rain.
Second battle of Geonosis.
The beginning of the second battle.
Yes.
So this episode is pretty much just this is just one big ground assault is all that this episode is. So it involves Anakin, Ahsoka, Obi-Wan, and Ki-Adi-Mundi leading a landing party to destroy the droid factory.
Mm-hmm.
So the intent is that they're all supposed to land in this one particular spot and attack the droid factory together. But that doesn't quite happen. Pretty much everyone lands away from where they're supposed to be. And yes, and they all have to fight in some way, shape, or form to get back there while dealing with various degree of injury. I know that I would say of all the Jedi, Obi-Wan gets banged up the worst, right?
Yes, like there comes a scene in like the very end where he's just at his last leg, but he still activates his lightsaber like he's gonna keep going.
Right. But yeah, he gets banged up pretty bad. Ki-Adi-Mundi gets banged up pretty bad. Several clones either get injured or unfortunately outright die. Anakin and Ahsoka and Rex, though, they make it relatively okay.
Yeah, they seem to be pretty fine.
Yes. So basically, Obi-Wan and his men really can't move. So they just sort of have to defend themselves. Ki-Adi-Mundi has to make his way through this tunnel. And Anakin and Ahsoka have to take down this big wall that has a whole bunch of droid weaponry in it, which the way they do that is pretty cool, where they scale the wall with Rex and throw droid poppers down into the hole to take out everything on the inside, and then they throw sticks of dynamite in to blow the hole in the wall itself. And of course, the funny scene where they use the Force to throw Rex over the wall, they jump down, land faster than he does, and then use the Force to catch him, and then he's just like, "Next time, sir, just tell me to jump." But then, of course, at the end, everyone is reunited. Ki-Adi-Mundi and Obi-Wan are taken off the battlefield. And by the way, hello to Black Dragon, who said, "Good stream, guys. I'm gonna jump over to X-Wing. Thanks for coming by, Black Dragon. I greatly appreciate that." And really, that's the episode. There's, of course, there's plenty of other things, more details that we could go over, like the fact that Waxer and Boyle come back, and they're ultimately the ones that extract Obi-Wan from his wreckage.
Yeah. And then another thing I want to mention is how Ki-Adi-Mundi's squad is just a little bit more brutal than the others, where they literally take flamethrowers to the Geonosians and burn them.
Yeah, that is true. So yeah, there are those finer details, but the whole episode is just one big battle.
Yeah, it is nice. The little throwback to the movie, with Obi-Wan saying like, I forget exactly, it was something like you should have seen it when we were here the first time. Like it was, this was not a place that any of the Jedi or even the clones wanted to come back to.
Right. Obi-Wan says something like, "The last time I was here, I was chained up and being attacked by some giant monster." And then, of course, Cody's like, "That sounds entertaining." It was for the Geonosians.
Yeah. Nice.
Which lends credence to the debunking of that clone is Rex, right?
Hmm.
The one that helps Padme,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Rex would have been like, "I know, sir. I was here.
Yeah.
I helped
Wait, that was
Padme."
wait, that was Cody that said that though.
Was it?
Yeah, that was Cody he was talking to.
Hmm.
Then I don't know.
I
No.
I mean, I'm sure, but I do believe you that I don't believe that Rex and Cody were there at the Battle of Geonosis yet. So yeah, that clone could have been someone else.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it was Rex. That's what some people say. So
Right. I'm sure that by this point Rex was going through his ARC Trooper training, and then ultimately whatever training he had to be to actually be a captain.
mm-hmm.
No. And what I will say is that this is not the last time in the realm of animation that we return to Geonosis.
Yes. I do know exactly what
I
you're
know what
talking
you're
about.
I think I do too. It happens in Rebels, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I liked that story.
Yeah.
Isn't Saw
was a good
Gerrera
portion.
involved in that?
Saw Gerrera's
Yes.
there
Ooh.
with Kanan, and yeah, that's a
Okay.
good one.
All right. So, real quick before we go, a couple quick things that I know we're going to get into in the next episode. We're going to see what happens when worms go up people's noses. That's going to be fun.
Worm
Yeah.
sign.
Yes, we're going to see literally the queen of the Geonosians.
Yeah.
And Michael,
Yeah, we're gonna get some alien throwbacks there.
yes, and Michael, I'm sure you and I will also be comparing somewhat to Star Fox Assault. Did you ever play that game, Matt Cave?
No, what is that?
You've never
Ooh.
Star Fox Assault on the GameCube?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't catch the beginning. I heard Assault. I was like, what are we talking about? Star Fox. Well, is the original called Star Fox Assault?
No, the original is
This
just
one.
Star Fox
It's
on the
just Star Fox.
SNES.
Because
Yeah.
I just played that for the first time recently.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did too, and I couldn't get it. My Star Fox game is and forever will be Star Fox 64.
Mm.
But that
I
being
have
said,
both now.
But
Yeah.
Star Fox Assault, on the other hand,
that is an amazing game, though.
I have a
Yes.
Star Fox game on the Wii U.
that
That's
one is
Star Fox Zero, and that
Okay.
one to me is kind of meh.
It
I
was
didn't
done
really
dirty.
play it. I got it for my son, and then he didn't really play it, and we just have it.
Yeah, it's we could do a whole stream talking about that, about why Star Fox Zero sucks. But basically, to put it this way, they tried to
Wow.
Dark Scorpion. You know what?
Oh, wow. Wow.
You just said a no phrase. Yes, you did. It's true.
No phrase.
You sealed your fate, Dark
I'm
Scorpion.
kidding, of
You
course.
sealed your fate. But
I mean, they don't call him uplifting Scorpion.
That is true.
and also we will see we will see a pretty good next episode after this one. I won't get into a whole lot of details, but all I can say is that it'll definitely put the characters in interesting places.
Ooh, I know what you're talking
And
about.
we will be introduced to Barriss, who comes
Mhm.
somewhat important later on in the in the
Gets
series.
the beginning of the friendship between Ahsoka and Barriss.
That can only end badly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I guess with that, guys, that's where we're going to go ahead and end this episode. So final question, just I asked this at the beginning, but again, what did you guys, after we talked about it, think of this block of episodes as a whole?
I like him. I get the feeling that I'm in the Clone Wars now instead of like in the first few episodes. I kind of felt like that the whole first season was like, yeah, we're going to start the Clone Wars. And then when Cad Bane showed up in the last episode, it was like, okay, here we go.
Yeah.
And now that we finished that arc with the Holocron and we're into it a little bit more, it's like, okay, now we're in the Clone Wars. So I feel accomplished now.
Yeah, you're definitely in at this point, and with this season especially, like it's like, okay, it's like you're gonna see why a lot of people say just get through the first season and then go.
And I enjoyed the first season a lot more than I thought I would. I've heard people say like, oh, the animation's terrible, the story's really boring. I get where people are coming from, but it wasn't as hard to get through as I expected. So I'm glad I'm going through it. I guess you could say I've taken my first steps into a larger world.
Yes, you have.
Yeah.
No, these get better and better now at this point as we go.
Yeah.
I mean, not just animation wise, storytelling wise, throwbacks to the films, it's just they really hit their stride in this season, and then just kept ramping up from then on.
Yeah.
Michael, anything final to say about these episodes?
Well, I guess it can only get better from here. And that's pretty much all I've got to say.
Indeed. So yeah, that's my thoughts too. I liked this block of 5 episodes, but I know that there is better to come. Now, before we go, I do want to mention one little bit of housekeeping real quick. So Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve this year both fall on a Friday. And I'm sure that everyone's going to be busy doing family stuff, especially on Christmas Eve. So we'll just go ahead and call it right now. No Animation Friday on Christmas Eve. And also no Animation Friday on New Year's Eve. However, depending on whether or not Michael and I have to, well, we'll probably do this, but how late it lasts will depend on whether or not Michael and I work New Year's Day.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, haven't fully decided yet, but I'm thinking of doing a New Year's Eve stream where we will go all the way through midnight. But I don't know for sure yet, so stay tuned on that. But point is, no Animation Friday on Christmas Eve, no Animation Friday on New Year's Eve. Christmas Eve, we're going to be with family, and I'm sure you guys will be too.
Yeah.
Let's see. We got...
Right. So we got the 10th, 17th coming up.
Okay, so we'll have to finish up Animation Friday, or for the second season on the 7th.
Yes.
It was the one we'll finish up season 2.
Right? Yeah, so let me look
at
how many episodes
are there. 22?
Let me look. There is, it's loading. There is 22. So we could talk. Michael, you're a math expert. What's 22 divided by 2?
11? Like,
I was advised there would be no math.
Sorry. All right, so tell
Did
you
not
what.
know that?
It's late. My brain's starting to shut down for the night. But yeah. So we'll talk about this a little bit further in Discord, but would you guys be okay with, if we want to end season 2 on the 17th, that would mean that we would have to cover 11 episodes per episode for the next 2 streams. So we can talk in Discord whether or not we feel comfortable doing that, or just pause in the middle of season 2 and then pick it up in the new year.
A mid-season break?
Yeah, we could do a mid-season break.
Was there a writer's strike?
Well, like I said, we'll talk more about it in Discord. But as far as this stream goes, I had fun. Did you guys have fun?
This was fun.
Talking.
And remember, keep retro gaming alive, because one day you might get punched in the Clovis.
I have to make an animation. I need something. Now. You know how on X-Wing streams when somebody super chats a youngling gets killed? I need a punching of Clovis.
Or Count Dooku, like
I
mean,
Yeah.
I have a fart gun. That's all I have. And
Use
masks.
it. Get it out and use it. I love it. I love it. All right, guys. Well,
Michael does not approve.
Michael wasn't paying attention.
Yeah,
what?
honestly,
Was that me?
Oh boy.
I wasn't
All right,
paying
well-
attention too much.
All right. So as always, guys, Matt Cave, you always go first. Want to hit your outro?
I mean, how do I beat that? I'll
And
try.
remember,
keep retro gaming alive. Because you might get punched in the Clovis.
Close enough.
I can't. My stream's going forward.
We'll keep it. Let's just keep
I
it.
gotta throw that into the. I gotta make a clip.
It's gonna be so
of
confusing
whole
going
punching
forward. I'm gonna be
Clovis,
playing like
man.
Mega Man, and somebody's gonna be like, "He said something about punching a Clovis," and then ended the stream.
That's awesome.
Dark Scorpion
Guard your
says, "Great
Clovis."
stream." Guard your Clovis.
Oh,
All right.
man.
Yeah.
Dim, your sign off. If you
Shock
can.
troopers, the Clovis Guard. So this Monday I'm doing that Mustaches on Mustafar with Kyle Katarn. I'm super excited. Hope you guys all show up. Just one of those guys where you just want to pick his brain about everything Star Wars because he knows everything Star Wars. Like I said, I would always watch his reactions to the Bad Batch and Clone Wars in season 7 Mandalorian, just to see what his opinion was on those things and the little Easter eggs that he could pick up while watching it. So I'm really excited about that. That's going to be Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern time. So hope you guys all come and tune into that. But to everyone else, thank you for watching the stream. Hope you enjoyed the Clovis jokes. And we appreciate you. And I will see you wherever I happen to see you in the galaxy.
And of course, for Michael and I both, thank you guys so much for watching this. Make sure to hit like and subscribe if you haven't already. And as always, unless your name is Rush Clovis, the Force is family. See you guys later.
Subscribe or get punched in the